Yo guys, what's going on? We're back with our second episode of season 2 of the podcast, the ENT podcast. We got Ethan
How's it
again.
going?
Yeah, we got Ethan again with us to run it back. And today, it's going to be more of like a chilled, relaxed, setback video. There isn't really much NFL news right now, other than the fact that we know that schedules are going to be released May the 11th. That's really about it. Just a couple small things happened. Just like Jared McKinnon on the Chiefs getting re-signed. Just kind of like stuff like that. But today is different. Today we're going to be going over our post-draft season predictions, including our Super Bowl winner. Um, by the way, whenever we get to the playoffs, um, Ethan kind of messed up his the playoff bracket like really bad. So So, oh, he's going to give you a Super Bowl prediction. I'll give you my full playoff bracket because I did mine right. So, without that being said, let's go ahead and start with the AFC. And we're going to start with the AFC South, Ethan, okay? And
Hey,
and we're going to start with the Colts. So, what was your record you had for the Indianapolis Colts?
I had the Colts going 8-9.
Okay. Why do you have the Colts finishing 8-9?
I have the Colts going 8-9 because they have a rookie unexperienced quarterback that's just getting birthed into the NFL, so he's obviously not going to be that experienced in terms of being in a situation like today in the NFL. And Jonathan Taylor can't carry the offense just all by himself. And with a defense that isn't really producing that much, they're not going to have anything rolling. So that's why I have them at 8-9.
All right, for me, I have the Colts finishing 3-14. For the Colts, it's mostly just a rebuilding year. They're just trying to get their rookies to play good for the Colts. And while the division is somewhat of an easy division to play in, I don't feel very confident in them winning some of their games, especially when the Titans still have Derrick Henry for right now, and the Texans I feel like are getting better. And not to mention that the Jags are starting to get very good, and they're probably going to run away with this division. But it ain't all bad. You know, you got a really good runner in Jonathan Taylor, who can get you probably 1,000 yards this season. And you also got a high upside quarterback in Anthony Richardson. So if you're a Colts fan, there ain't really much to hope for other than you just hope your rookies um, play good, how they're supposed to, and you hope that there isn't as many injuries as well. But there's our opinions for the Colts. And next we have the Tennessee Titans. What's your record for them, Ethan?
I have them at 6-11.
Okay. Why's that?
I have them at 6-11 because the only actual player that has a name behind him is Derrick Henry on this offense. Defense-wise, you don't see hardly anybody coming out with an actual good background in terms of college and their season so far in the NFL. And with their quarterback situation not being good at all, they're going to have to rely on the run game a lot more, and with a not so good O line, it's not going to produce as much as they like. So that's why I have them at 6-11.
All right, for me, I have the Titans at 5-12. Mostly because I feel like these games that they're going to win is going to be early on in the season when they still have Derrick Henry. We don't know if he's going to get traded or not. I'd say he probably would because he's going to be on a rebuilding team, and I don't see him keeping Derrick Henry on a rebuilding team for much longer. I also see them starting the year out with Ryan Tannehill and eventually letting them give the QB job to Will Levis, probably maybe halfway through the season, a little bit earlier through. So he'll probably still get him some time to get used to. So he might struggle a little bit early on. So I feel like it'll take some. I feel like the Titans will start off hot a little bit, then just kind of cool down towards the end of the season. Next is the Houston Texans. What's your record and why are they that record, Ethan?
I have the Texans at 8-9. I have a lot of confidence in C.J. Stroud that he will produce more than most of the other rookie quarterbacks taken, and he will most definitely be a starter, in my opinion. I think he already is. Um, with a decent wide receiver core and a defense that knows how to make big plays in big situations, I think that the Texans will do a lot better than they did these past few seasons, but also not produce as much as a team like the Eagles or Chiefs. So that's why I have them at 8-9.
For me, I have the Texans finishing 7-10. I see him beating the Colts and Titans quite a few times, giving them 3 or 4 wins. Um, and I also see him beating somewhat easier teams to play as well. Um, while their offense is kind of still lacking at the moment, I feel like their defense is going to be playing pretty solid this year, which I feel like could help carry them to a couple of victories there against not so good offensive teams. So other than that, it's good progress for the Texans. They've really struggled these last couple of years, and I see them doing better in the following years to come. And next we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. What's your record for them?
I have the Jags going 11-6. Trevor Lawrence has finally proven himself to not be just a transgender guy with long blonde hair, but to be in fact a good NFL quarterback. And I'm very excited to see what he can produce this season, along with his um, well-producing wide receiver core, James Robinson in the backfield, can produce them yards when he needs them, even when he doesn't really need them most of the time. And with a developing defense I am excited to see this season. So that's why I have the Jaguars going 11-6.
All right, for me, I have the Jags finishing 12-5. I see them being a team that plays really good at home, at the at home, having some good home field advantage. I see them playing pretty well on the road as well. They have a pretty good team. You got Trevor Lawrence, which is a great QB. You have some good wide receivers, um, such as like maybe Zay Jones, for example. You have, I think, Calvin Ridley, I think, you got in a trade this
I believe
last
so.
offseason. And then you have, I believe, Dalton Schultz they got from the Cowboys. So you got good offensive weapons to throw the ball to. Your defense isn't that bad either, so overall solid team playing in an easy division. That's how I got the fishing 12-5. Next up is the fair team, the Cincinnati Bengals. Ethan, where do you got my Bengals at?
I got the Bengals going 14-3, all because of the fact of Joey B carrying this offense. Because before he came to Cincinnati, it was kind of like almost a livestock judging there. But Joey B turned this football team around, showed him that Cincinnati is a good place for football. And I'm excited to see what they can do this season, even though the Chiefs aren't too good of friends with the Bengals. I still like to watch them play football. And I'm very excited to see what they will be able to do this season. So that's why I have them going 14-3.
All right, for me, I have the Bengals finishing 13-4. That being that they play actually quite a few tough teams this year. That's counting our division with the Ravens and Browns. Steelers not too far behind. Main teams that I'm losing to is the Niners and Chiefs. I think both. I think they play both of these away. The 49ers game might be at home. But they play tough teams this year. Some teams I feel like they'll be able to beat, like the Bills. But other teams I don't think so. Um, but overall, still a good team. You got Joey B leading the offense along with Jamar Chase, T Higgins. No defense. We got Orlando, or is the offensive? Is Orlando Brown offensive lineman?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so you got Orlando Brown on offense for the offensive line. Defense is still good. You got Trey Hendrickson. You still have some other great defensive players. We're lacking a little bit of corner um, players. However, they are rookies, so they could be getting better as the season goes. Next we have the Pittsburgh Steelers. What you got for them?
I have the old Steelers going 3-14. You know, they proved to us why they're called the Steelers last season because they steal people's money to make them go to their games. And they are just a pitiful franchise right now. Their head office is horrible. Um, Najee Harris is doing all he can in the backfield, but it's not doing that much. Their defense is being carried on a lift by TJ Watt, but even with just one guy, can't really do much. Their quarterback situation is horrible. Kenny Pick6 is doing horrible as the quarterback position. Even though he's still trying to develop, it's not going to work out. So that's why I have the Steelers going 3-14.
Dude, I feel bad for Steelers fans watching this right now. You were just putting them on a torch. Um, well, I am a Steelers believer. I believe they're going to go 8-9. I want to be honest with you, Steelers. I probably I want to say top 10 defense in the league. They've always been known for their defense, and their offense isn't even as bad as what Ethan's trying to lead on. You got George Pickens, Kenny Pickett. I feel like he'll have a better season than what his rookie season was. Overall, I see the Steelers just improving, even though they're losing one game that let more than what they did last year. And also it's just kind of like rebuilding type year, getting the rookies and younger players just improving on them. So overall, I don't really see this season as a loss for the Steelers. I see it as a season that's just improvement overall. So next we have the Cleveland Browns. Ethan, what do you have on the Browns?
I actually have the Browns going 1-16. Just like I said about the Steelers, they are a pitiful franchise. They can't get anything going. Quarterback situation is horrible. Nick Chubb is trying to carry the offense as much as he can, but it is not doing anything. Nick Chubb gets hyped up all this seasons, but he's not that good in the end because look at where the Browns are. They're nowhere. So yeah, that's why I have the Browns going 1-16.
Um, okay. You have the Browns going 1-16.
Yep.
Like you're saying that confidently, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Um, well there you go. I have the Browns finishing 10-7, but most of this really depends on how good
Oh,
most of it actually depends on how good Deshaun Watson plays. Nick Chubb's still a really good running back. You still have some good wide receivers like Amari Cooper. Your defense is still pretty good with with Garrett leading the way. So overall, I think the Browns are going to kind of resurge again, and hopefully maybe make the playoffs. So I should have them finishing 10-7. Next is probably me and Ethan's probably the most hated franchise between them and the Cowboys, the Baltimore Ravens. So what you got on them?
this record for me depends on whether or not their star players can actually stay healthy, and depending on whether OBJ can actually play at a healthy state throughout the entire season. But I have them going 11-6. I have faith in the old Lamar Jackson that he might be able to pull another close to MVP season out of his butt somewhere, and that OBJ might be able to mentor some of the younger wide receivers and turn them into a pretty solid wide receiver core. Because they kind of murked most of the Chiefs' OG wide receivers, so I'm kind of sad about that. But yeah, solid defense overall. Their D line's just improving. They still got Calais Campbell over there, a big boy. So yeah, he'll do everything they can. But that's why I have the Ravens going 11-6.
I have the Ravens going 10-7. I see them probably starting really hot to start the year, and then cooling off because probably Lamar and Odell will get injured. I'm calling it right now. They can't stay healthy to save their life. So and then their defense is a pretty solid. They're not too bad. But it really just depends on how healthy the Ravens can stay. If they can stay healthy all year, they're going to be really dangerous. But if they get injured, then I don't see them making it too far. in the playoffs. And next, we're heading to the AFC East, where we have the Buffalo Bills. Ethan, what you got on them?
I got them going 10-7. You know, they had a little bit of a down year last season. Didn't see um, as much productivity from Josh Allen as we wanted to see. You know, he was popping off against the Chiefs in the regular season, but then got into the playoffs. Him and Stephon Diggs, the connection just wasn't there like it usually is. You know, Stephon Diggs was yelling at him, saying, "Bro, get the ball to me. Don't throw it under me. Throw it to me." And we saw that play in the Bengals Bills game a while back. But, you know, still a solid offense as long as Josh Allen can get it together, get that corrected, and go out there and sling the ball like we know he can. Then I think pretty confidently that they have the chance to go 10-7.
All right, for me, the Bills going 11-6. It don't matter who you put around Josh Allen. He's going to get your team to the playoffs no matter what. Stephon Diggs is also probably going to be one of the best wide receivers in the game next year. Um, Pretty much the same team as last year, just losing a couple pieces, so they're going to fall off just a little bit. And hopefully, if you're a Bills fan, you hope that Josh Allen doesn't run football, or else he's going to fumble it and cost you another football game. So with that, we're going to move on to the Patriots. Ethan, what do you got on the Bill Belichick Patriots?
I have the Patriots going 4-13, and this is simply because of Bill Belichick's coaching. Quarterback situation is horrible. Have no wide receivers to throw to. Defense is close to pitiful. Head office is horrible, except for Bill Belichick. They have no idea how to use their money. Horrible draft picks, in my opinion, and they will not get anything done this season. They're just going to be pitiful. They've been pitiful since Tom Brady left. So that's why I have them going 4-13.
There you go. For me, I have the Patriots going 3-14. Mostly because they play in a tough division. It's hard to win games when you're playing in a really tough division, especially with the fact that you have Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, players like that in your division. So I don't see them winning any division games at all. Mostly just teams they can beat. But Bill Belichick's going to give them some wins here and there. He's going to try everything he can, but overall, not a good year for the Patriots. And next is probably the team many people are wondering how they're going to play this year, and that is the New York Jets. So, what you got on the Jets, Ethan?
I have them going 14-3. And out of all the teams in the entire league, this is the team I'm most excited to see play. With the addition of Aaron Rodgers and this above decent wide receiver core, amazing defense to, they can be the next Legion of Zoom, maybe. But on defense, with all the Sauce Gardner on there. But yeah, Aaron Rodgers said he wanted to play for a Super Bowl contending team, and I think he finally found it. And I have this team going deep in the playoffs, maybe even make a Super Bowl contending push. But we'll see when we get there. But that's why I have them going 14-3.
For me, I have the Green Bay Jets going 14-3, and all they really did was just take pretty much every offensive player that was on the Jets or on the Packers, I mean, just brought them over. They took Aaron Rodgers, Randall Cobb. There's another receiver that played for the Packers that went over there. So basically, they just took every Packer player that they could get, put them on the Jets, called it a day. But still, his team is pretty nasty. You know, you got Sauce Gardner on defense. Very young talent that you have all around on the team. This team's going to be nasty. Just a lot of good players to surround Aaron Rodgers with. I think they're going to be chasing that Lombardi come playoff time. Next, we have the Miami Dolphins. A lot of questions about this team and how they're going to play this year. Ethan, where you got the Dolphins?
Well, the thing is that Tua can't even think straight, and he's left-handed, so that's an L on his part. Just be better and be right-handed. But I have him going 10-7. You know, Tyreek Hill's going to try to carry this wide receiver core as much as he can. Old Penguin Waddle over there, he hasn't really done much. But Tyreek Hill is a top 5 wide receiver in my books. Their defense is solid. Xavier Howard over there, solid linebackers, and we'll see if they can try to get something done. But if Tua cannot perform like he did early last season, then this record is going to change drastically for me. But this is saying that all players remain healthy. I got them at 10-7.
I have the Dolphins finishing 9-8. Again, they're playing in a tough division, so it's going to be hard for them to win games. Also, we don't know how good Tua's going to play this year because he got pretty much concussed almost every game he played. So there's a lot of questions in the air. I don't feel confident that they can really do too much in the AFC, but I feel like they'll still play above 500. For next is the Kansas City Chiefs, and I'm gonna go first for this one, and then Ethan's gonna tell you all about how his team's so amazing. So I have the Chiefs finishing 14-3. Um, the way I see it is, as long as you have Patrick Mahomes, your team's gonna make the playoffs no matter what. And it don't matter what receiver you put next to Patrick Mahomes, they're going to be good. That's basically what I've learned about the Chiefs. Doesn't matter who you have, as long as you have Patrick Mahomes and a receiver, they're going to make the playoffs. So that's how I have them going 14-3.
I have the homeboys going 15-2. No bias at all. We have seen the past. People said y'all aren't going to make the playoffs, so we made the playoffs. And they said y'all aren't going to beat the Bengals, and we beat the Bengals. And then y'all said y'all's wide receiver core isn't good enough to stand against the Eagles defense, and then we went out there and won a Lombardi. So throughout this, we have learned that Patrick Mahomes is indeed built diff. They literally said that he took an adrenaline boost in steroids during halftime to make him play like he did in the second half. When your quarterback's that good, I mean, I think it just speaks for itself. But we have learned that Patrick Mahomes is just a superhero among men at this point, and that is why I have him going 15-2.
All right. Next is the Los Angeles Chargers. I think they're going to go 11-6. He's got great offense with Justin Herbert. You got Keenan Allen. You got Austin Eckler. Pretty much the same team as last year. Your defense isn't too better either. You got Joey Bosa. And other than that, pretty much just the same team as last year. We're just hoping they stay healthy. And if they do, they're going to finish with the 11-6 record and probably make the playoffs.
I like that record. So I have them going 10-7. Their defense is elite, having Joey Bosa, Derwin James, just those two combined on a defense is already scary. And then on offense, have a really good wide receiver core to fit with Justin Herbert almost perfectly in terms of the passing game. And that's why, Austin Eckler, I'm pretty sure he got traded over the offseason. But even when they did have him, they wasn't really relying on the running game as much as the passing game, especially when you have a quarterback like Justin Herbert and wide receivers like Mike Williams and all of them. So that is why I have the homeboys going 10-7.
Next is the Las Vegas Raiders. I have them going 7-10. While they did add Jimmy G to the squad, I just feel like Jimmy G is just like another Derek Carr where he's good, but not really like the best. And I don't really see the Raiders like winning a lot of games considering they play in a tough division and also they have a kind of somewhat tough schedule. So I have the Raiders finishing 7-10.
I also have the Raiders finishing 7-10 with a tough division like this, except for the Broncos. Um, they're not going to really be able to get that much going. They may be able to clinch a wild card game, maybe in their dreams, but the Raiders, just like you said, Jeremy Garoppolo isn't really that much different than Derek Carr. In fact, I would rather have Derek Carr than I would Jimmy Garoppolo at this point. But you still have Devontae Adams. If I was Devontae Adams, I'd be getting out of there right now. But I understand that he has a contract and he's probably getting paid lots of money, so I don't blame him. but I don't think they're going to be getting anything special going this season unless they pull it somewhere out of God knows where. So I have them going 7-10.
All right, next AFC, last AFC team, Denver Broncos. I have them going 6-11. While they did have probably one of the greatest coaches of all time in Sean Payton, the team still isn't really too good, in my opinion. And again, they play in a tough division. I don't know if it's going to get worse or better. I'm predicting it's going to get worse, so I have them finishing 6-11.
I have this team going 7-10. I am excited to see if Sean Payton can either turn this franchise around or make it go down the dirt. Because Russell Wilson didn't really have that good of a head coach last season. So to see him with a head coach like Sean Payton, I think it will be amazing to see, even though that I think it's not going to really help the team. But, we'll see if Russ can cook, even though their stadium almost burned down last season. But anyways, I have them going 7-10.
All right, on to the NFC. And the first team we have is the Washington Commanders. They're going to go 2-15 because they suck. Ethan, what do you think they're going to do?
I have them going 3-14 because they suck.
Please sell the team, Washington, please. But going on from that trash team, we're going to be talking about the New York Giants, and I have them going 7-10. I feel like they'll regress a little bit. Um, I just don't think Daniel Jones is that guy you want at quarterback. Honestly, I don't really see too much about him other than he's just any average quarterback. Saquon's probably going to be really good this year, but I feel like the Giants are going to regress back to uh, the playoff type team.
Yeah, so I have them going 6-11. Danny White Chocolate Dimes does not throw dimes, as we have learned these past 2 seasons. And they have been relying heavy on the ground game. I mean, why wouldn't you when you have a guy like Saquon? He should have won Comeback Player of the Year, in my opinion, but he didn't. Um, but their O line has regressed a little bit. They're getting older. They don't have that many star players, as to say, on their O line or wide receiver core. They lost Kadarius Toney, not last season, but the season before that. Went to the Kansas City Chiefs. Um, they're not going to really be able to get anything going. I'm not going to be watching any of these teams' games, but we'll see where they end up at the end of the season. That's why I have them going 6-11.
All right, next is the Philadelphia Eagles. I have them going 14-3. Basically the same roster as they had last year, other than the new rookies they have. So I see them just overall improving and being a dangerous team coming from Lombardi. So I have them going 14-3.
What team is this?
The Eagles.
Oh, I have the Eagles going 15-2. Um, the Chiefs barely made it out of their Lions' den last season in the Super Bowl to win the Lombardi. I was scared for about 75% of that game, but we finally outlived the Eagles. But the Eagles, they're not gonna back down. Jalen Hurts is hungry for that Lombardi, and he's not gonna stop until he gets it. Let's be honest. And I think that this season could very well be the season where Jalen Hurts gets to hold that Lombardi. So we'll see how it goes, but I have the Eagles going 15-2.
All right. Next is the Dallas Cowgirls. Don't have much to say about them other than they're going to go 12-5, and Dak Prescott might sell in the playoffs.
Okay. I have them going 11-6, and I just want to come on here and say that Dak Prescott is a little wiener.
Congratulations. Next is the Los Angeles Rams. I think they're going to go 9-8, have a resurgence type year. They're going to have everybody healthy again. You got Matthew Stafford back healthy, Cooper Kupp back healthy, Aaron Donald's back. So I feel like they're going to try to make a run for it again. I have them going 9-8.
Okay, okay. I have the Rams going 4-13, kind of drastically different schedules. I forgot that they had Matthew Stafford. I'm gonna be honest with you. But if Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford continue to be healthy, then I think they will have that chemistry that they had whenever they did make a Super Bowl run. Um, but other than that, if they can't get anything going and their defense regresses again like it did last season, right in the middle of the season, it just kind of hit a pivot point. And I was very sad to see that with a player like Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald not performing as well as they usually do. That's a sad thing to see. But I have the Rams going 4-13 for those reasons.
All right, next is the Cardinals. I'm going 3-14. I don't see them having D Hop to start the season. Their team just ain't going to be that good. So, just see them struggling. 3-14.
I have this team going 4-13. Little midget Kyler Murray can't really do that much whenever he's surrounded every single play within the first 3 seconds because his O-line is trash. They lost J.J. Watt, which was the only good part of their defense. The only part that I liked about their defense, actually, besides J.J. Watt and Buda Baker. But other than that, they're not going to be able to get anywhere this season. They don't have anything to look forward to in terms of rookies. So that is why I have them going 4-13.
Next is the San Francisco 49ers. I have them going 15-2. I think Brock Purdy is going to be pretty good. Um, you still have Christian McCaffrey. You still got Debo, who plays incredibly in the playoffs. Um, the defense is still absolutely insane. So I think the 49ers are going to try to make it back to the Super Bowl for the first time since 2020.
I also have this team going 15-2. In terms of talent wise, this is the best team in the entire league. Wide receiver, core wise, their quarterbacks. It's a little iffy on terms of who's going to start, but I think if you're the 49ers head coach, you have to start Brock Purdy. You know, with just what we saw from him, he almost went undefeated last season. And that's just insane for a quarterback that was supposed to be a no name to come out there and fling the ball. And I know he has all these star players, but still to do that as a rookie quarterback, first time stepping on the field, is incredible. So, yep, I'm excited to see what Brock Purdy can do, and that's why I have him going 15-2.
All right, next is the Seahawks. I have them going 10-7. Honestly, I feel like Seahawks are kind of underdogs every year, ever since Russ left. Geno Smith is still a very good quarterback. As we saw last year, they still have DK. They still have a solid defense. I think they brought back Bobby Wagner. I'm not sure, but I think they did. So I feel like the Seahawks are going to have an underdog season. I think they're going to go 10-7.
I have the Seahawks going 8-9. This team is home to my favorite wide receiver at the moment, which is DK Metcalf. He is the second coming of Megatron, and nobody can tell me differently. He's built like him, acts like him on the field, and I'm excited to see what this guy can do every single season because no matter what quarterback's throwing the ball, he's going to find a way to get to it. He's the definition of ball hogger. So I'm excited to see what DK and Geno can come up with this season as terms of plays and hopefully win some games. And I have them doing 8-9.
All right, the next division is probably maybe one of the boringest divisions. And then the last one we might talk or that we're going to talk about. We're going to start with the Saints. I think they're going to go 10-7. You got Derek Carr as your new quarterback, a overall decent quarterback. You still got Alvin Kamara. Michael Thomas might play more than 2 games. You never know. Your defense is solid, so I got the Saints going 10-7.
I feel like the Saints are like North Korea, where you hear about their weapons, but none of them really work. But I still have them going 12-5, just because of the simple fact of the weapons that they do have and the weapons that they do talk about all the time. Just like Michael Thomas and a big upgrade in the quarterback position, and a solid D line and solid linebackers. Marshawn Lattimore is going to be getting it in over at his DB spot. I'm excited to see how the offense can flow now with a different style quarterback as they have in Derek Carr. So that is why I have them going 12-5.
All right, next is the Bucks. I'm going 9-8. Just an okay team, really. That's all you really got to say about them. Baker's going to be all right. Their offense is going to be all right. Their defense is going to be all right. So let's have them going 9-8.
I have this team going 5-12 simply just because of their defense. Jason Pierre-Paul, Vita Vea over on the D line. They're going to have to carry this team, and I know Baker Mayfield is going to be making one of those speeches that's like, I will do everything for this team, but he won't be able to get anything done, in my opinion, as he has said that the past 5 teams he's been on. But Mike Evans will try to help him in any way he can over on the offense, and has a great wide receiver one. But this defense is really going to have to step up this season, and we're going to see what they're made of. So that's why I have them going 5-12.
All right. Next up is the Panthers, who had the first overall pick, and took Bryce Young. I think they're going to go 6-11. Bryce Young, I feel like he's probably going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year, in my opinion. Just a young team, and just overall developing. That's all you can really say about the Panthers.
Yeah, I have the Panthers going 4-13. If I was the Panthers head coach and head office, I would not label this as an aggressive acting season. You just lost Christian McCaffrey in the middle of last season before the trade deadline, so you don't really have anybody there. You also lost DJ Moore, so that is a big loss in terms of your wide receiver core. So in terms of Bryce Young, that is a big plus, just like Tristan said. Probably going to get Offensive Rookie of the Year. He's going to deserve it, and he already deserves it in terms of his college previews. But they're not going to really get that much done. They might be able to get into the playoffs, but they're not going to really get that much done. That's why I'm going 4-13.
All right, next is the Falcons. They're having going 2-15 because they suck.
I have them going 4-13 as well because they suck.
All right, next is the Lions. This division is kind of mid. I have them going 14-3 because their players thought it was okay to gamble, and now they're all not going to play pretty much the whole year.
Did you say the Lions?
Yeah.
I have them going 5-12. They have a lot of young players, both on offense and defense. I think it's going to take them a couple years before they can actually start becoming a big contending team, like everyone hopes they will, because the Lions have never made a Super Bowl. But hopefully that time will come soon, and hopefully not in the next 15 decades. But that is why I have them going 5-12.
All right. Next is the Bears. I have them going 6-11. I just feel like they're just, I don't know. Our team's still somewhat young, but I just feel like they ain't really getting nowhere. They're just like slowly rebuilding, and hopefully in the next few years they'll be able to make the playoffs. But for right now, let's have them sitting at 6-11.
Did you say the Packers?
No, the Bears.
Bears. Okay, I have the Bears going 9-8. I love Justin Fields as a quarterback. He is a very good escape artist when he has to be and when he wants to be, which is a great aspect to have in the quarterback position. He's going to have to carry this offense. They don't really have that much depth in terms of wide receivers. I don't even know their tight end's name at this point. And their defense, there's nothing really great or special on that side of the ball. So that is why I have them going 9-8.
All right. Next is the Packers. I have them going 5-12. If you don't have Aaron Rodgers, you're not making the playoffs. So that's pretty much the rundown of the Packers.
I have them going 4-13, just like you said. You don't have Aaron Rodgers, you're not getting as far as you did last season. and last season they lost to the Lions. So that is why I have them going 4-13.
All right, the last team is the Minnesota Vikings. I have them 11-6. Great offense with Justin Jefferson carrying the load, and they actually got a somewhat alright defense. So I have them being a very good regular season team and finishing with a strong 11-6 record.
As for this last team in the Minnesota Vikings, I have them going 10-7. Could within the next few seasons make an argue for the best wide receiver court. Now, that position is taken by the Bengals right now, but they could prove themselves. They got Zay Flowers, a rookie. They got in this season's draft Justin Jefferson, the best wide receiver in the league, and a very good wide receiver three that they can always depend on. But with a good offense that flows well like this, that elevates Kirk Cousins as a quarterback that most other teams can do with theirs. So that is why I have him going 10-7.
All right. So with that being said, we are going to be going over our playoff predictions. But as I said earlier, Ethan forgot how the playoffs work. So Ethan's gonna give you his Super Bowl
Yes.
prediction, and then I'll give you my playoff prediction. So Ethan, who's your Super Bowl picks?
My Super Bowl picks. This is going to be a very controversial pick, but I am fully believing that the Jets and 49ers will be this year's Super Bowl coming 2024.
All right, who you have winning between the two?
I have the San Francisco 49ers winning.
All right, not even a bad pick. All right, for me, I'll just go round by round. The first round, I'll do with AFC first. I have the 4-seeded Jags against the 5-seeded Bills. I have the Bills winning that one. And then I have the 3-seeded Bengals against the 6-seeded Chargers. I have the Bengals winning that one, and I have the Chiefs at number 2 against the 7-seed Ravens. I have the Chiefs winning. And then in the second round of the AFC, you have the number 1 Jets against the number 5 Bills. I have the Jets winning in a nail biter. And I have the Bengals against the Chiefs at Arrowhead. But I'm taking Joey B over the Chiefs, 34-31, because I know how that score feels like. And then in the AFC Championship game, I have the Bengals beating the Jets by 2 and heading to the Super Bowl. And in the NFC, I have Saints versus Cowboys. Cowboys are going to win that one. And I have Vikings versus Seahawks. And as the Vikings always do, they choke in the playoffs. So I have the Seahawks upsetting the Vikings. And I have the Eagles beating the Rams by at least 10. And in the second round, I have the 49ers beating the Seahawks by at least 10. And I have the Eagles beating the Cowgirls because the Cowgirls always choke in the playoffs. And in the NFC Championship game, I have the Niners beating the Eagles. Or no, take it back. I have the Eagles beating the Niners by less than 5 points. For my Super Bowl prediction, I have the Bengals playing against the Eagles. And I'm going to take the Bengals winning by under 3 points. And I have the Bengals winning the Super Bowl. I think it's going to be a good Super Bowl.
W.
That is a W. Alright, so those are our predictions for the upcoming NFL season. Let me know how you think we did in the comments down below. We don't know what our plans are for the next episode, but we'll keep y'all updated on it. And without that being said, we will see you next time on the 3rd episode of the ENT podcast.